Welcome back to Fat Cloud TV, brought to you by Vaping Sheep. In this episode, we'll provide you with our second part to guide to squonking. In this part 2 or follow-up video to our original squonk guide, we'll be going over a few different squonk mods and atomizers that we feel are really good. We'll be listing them not necessarily in order. These mods and atomizers are typically widely available. They're priced affordably and they perform just well. But before getting too far into this video, I'd like to thank our sponsors who help make this video possible, which are GearBest Direct Vapor and C Vapor. So thank you guys very much, and we'll go ahead and dive into different squonk mods. Now the squonk mods I'm going to show you guys are readily available. They're priced really well. They perform great. But I'm not going to dive too deep into each one because I don't want to make this video way too long. And we did go up close and personal in our last squonk guide, which is squonking, our guide to squonking the basics, where we covered more of the basics. This is more of recommending different squonk mods and atomizers for those you guys who are interested in getting into this style of vaping. So the first one I'm going to go ahead and get into is the eLeaf Istick Pico Squeeze. Now the Istick Pico series is really popular. We covered that in a previous video we did. It's just people love the Pico series because it's tiny, it's really cheap, and it just perform well. Now, as you see here, the Istick Pico Squeeze, I mean, this thing is tiny, especially paired with a little RDA like that, which I'll get into this later. But I mean, look at this. Look, I mean, it's so tiny. It's little. I mean, you could stealth vape with this easily. You couldn't even tell. I cover it entirely with my hand. You can't even tell. Anyway, what's great about that? Not only that's good about it. It has a maximum wattage output of 50 watts. I think the squonk bottle holds just under 7 mils of e-liquid, if I'm not mistaken. It is kind of unregulated, but regulated. It has safety features. Like I said, the maximum wattage output is 50 watts, and the minimum firing resistance is 0.15 ohm. We do recommend you don't put too big of a build with this type of device because 50 watts is not like a ton. If you want a really good performing build, we would say like around a 0.2 ohm, like Clapton or Fuse Clapton, or even a standard round wire build would work well, especially in a tiny RDA. A lower resistance single coil will ramp up fairly quickly at 50 watts. It has a screwed battery cap just like the other Istick Pico series, and accessing the juice bottle is easy. You have to use their type of squonk bottles because it's more of a proprietary system rather than some of the other ones where you can use different squonk bottles. Sorry. But anyway, the Istick Pico, I think, man, this mod is probably like 20 to 30 bucks at the most. So definitely, if you're interested in getting started with squonking, this is a really good option. This is also available in a full starter kit as well that includes a squonk RDA. Now the next one I'll be getting into is the Kanger Drip Box 2. This is obviously a little bit more bigger. This is available as a full starter kit. It comes with the Drip Pro RDA, not Drip Pro, I forgot honestly what's the name of this RDA. But I mean, I'm not really a fan of this RDA, to be honest with you guys. If you get this, definitely recommend picking up one of the atomizers we'll recommend later. But this one requires also a single 18650 battery. It has a maximum wattage output of 70 watts. The bottle is where it's located is really easy, so you can squeeze with like one of your middle fingers or a pointer finger, and it's fairly ergonomic. It feels good in the hand. It is a bit on the wide side, but it performs well. I mean, especially for the price too, it's not bad, and it's actually one of the better options too, in our opinion, if you're looking for a regulated device. That is, 70 watts is good enough for a lot of vapors, I think, but not if you're looking for like a higher amount of wattage, of course not. It's only one 18650 battery, but yeah, I think the Drip Box 2 is really good. There's a Drip Box 160, but we didn't like that one too much because there are a few issues we ran into it. It's still a good option because it's a dual 18650 if you're interested, but finding one could be a little bit difficult too. This one is a little bit more available since it's newer, but and it's available in 3 different colors. overall, it's a solid Squonk mod. It's affordable. It vapes well. It has 70 watts, so a little bit more than the Pico, and you can control the wattage. And yeah, so I think it's a pretty good starter kit. I mean, Squonk kit. Sorry. Now the next one is probably my favorite of the bunch. Is the Cigar VT inbox. Now you probably saw this in our previous video where I actually used the same setup. I'm still using it because it's just a very solid all-around Squonk setup for me personally. The reason why we like this one so much is because, for one, it has the Evolve DNA 75 board, so you can fully customize it on the eScribe software. It has a fairly ergonomic design and is a bit smaller than the drip box. I lied. You know, at first it looks smaller, but it's relative. The drip box is a little bit taller and a little bit wider. So yeah, it is smaller, but not by much, to be honest with you. But it just feels better in the hand in comparison. But it is, of course, more expensive because of the Evolve DNA 75. It has a single 18650 battery, has a proprietary Squonk bottle it uses. The Squonk bottles are actually widely available, more so than the Kanger ones. So we definitely recommend stocking up on a couple if you do decide to purchase this. I'll leave some links down in the description if you're interested in picking up some replacement Squonk bottles. They're actually really cheap. I think for like 5 or 10, it's like $5 or $6 around there. It's really cheap. Yeah, it's available in a few different colors, and it's also available in a full starter kit, which includes, I think, the Maze V 1.1, which it's a very tiny atomizer. Actually, you know what? I'll be right back. Let me find it for you. I found the Cigar Maze version 1.1 RDA. Here it is sitting on top of the VT inbox. It is a tiny, tiny RDA. It actually has bottom and side airflow. The only thing with these type of RDAs, especially, I mean, if you see how tiny the deck is and how shallow the juice well is, I don't have the Squonk pin installed right there. That's why you don't see the hole in the middle. But with this type of RDA, you really want to make sure you do not over Squonk. You will definitely run into leaking. So just keep that in mind with any RDA, really, with bottom airflow or side airflow. If you do over Squonk, there's a good chance that it can leak. But all that comes with practice and, you know, using Squonk mods. And the more you vape with them, the more you'll get a feel for each RDA to see, you know, what's your sweet spot, how many squeezes or presses of the Squonk bottle would fill it. You know, fill the juice well to where you'll get a saturated vape and for a couple hits or whatever the, you know, case may be. But anyway, that's the Cigar VT inbox. I mean, I think it's just inbox, but anyway, links will be down in the description down below. This is the newer version. Just keep in mind, it did fix that whole battery door wobbly issue. As you see, mine doesn't wobble at all. The original had a bunch of wobble, a lot of wobbling, but this one doesn't. So anyway, the next one I'll be covering, let me see, is the Lost Vape Drone. Now, this is a lot bigger, of course, and the reason why, I'll just show you a quick comparison again. It's taller than the the Istick Pico Squeeze, even with the RDA attached. The reason why it's so big, it houses two 18650 batteries rather than one. It has a larger Squonk bottle, as you can see there. You can actually use whatever Squonk bottle you want. You're not stuck with whatever option the other companies or whatever they make. You can actually buy your own and use them, which I do recommend with this one because the Squonk bottle is a little stiff. It does take some time to break in. It's not that bad, but at first, man, these Squonk bottles are stiff, like really stiff, and they're a pain to squeeze. But the only issue with this one, it's not super widely available. We did find, I think, a few places where you could buy it, and we'll have them linked down in the description where you can find it. But the reason why we love this one is that for one, 30mm atomizer will sit flush in here. Even though it's a Squonk mod, you don't have to Squonk with it, but you know, just as a pro. I mean, even like 40mm atomizer would probably fit on here fine. The 10 or 11 mil Squonk bottle is really nice. It has the DNA 250 board, but it's limited to 167 watts because it's only housing two 8650 batteries. It has, which is so, you'll get a lot more wattage in comparison to the other ones I showed you, and you get more battery life, of course, because it's two batteries compared to one. And it's fairly ergonomic. I mean, it is on the bigger side, of course, but it is ergonomic, and it's like the Triad from Lost Vape. It feels, fairly similar, just slightly bigger. I mean, we like it a lot. If you're a fan of the DNA board and you're looking for a dual battery Squonk mod, and you're not looking to spend like a ton of money on a custom one, the drone is where it's at. This is a little bit more expensive than the other ones shown too. Just keep that in mind, but not overly expensive in our opinion. Just the right expensive in the cost. So the last one I'm going to go ahead and show you guys is the Boxer mod. I mean, Ginger Vapor Boxer Squonk. This is the single 18650 variant. There is a 2700 variant as well, 20700. The reason why we like this one, for one, it's a 3D printed mod. A lot of people are getting into 3D printed mods, and it's actually priced fairly well in comparison to some other 3D printed mods. I mean, I don't know if you guys know or into the high-end scene or kind of like into custom squonkers. I mean, that's where a lot of them come from. They're actually really expensive, like $200, $300, $400, $500. These things could cost a lot of money. And with the Boxer, this is only, I think, like $130 or $140. So it's not like that bad in comparison. It's tiny. It's fully mechanical. It does have a locking switch. So, when you're not using it, you can lock it. You cannot fire it. When you unlock it, you can fire it. It is fully mechanical, like I said. So if you're interested in this type of device, be sure to understand battery safety and Ohm's law. That is key, please, with any mechanical device. And you need to maintain any mechanical device. It's small, it's compact, it hits hard, and it's easy to use. It's a mechanical device. There's nothing major to it. As long as you know what you're doing, it's great. So with all that being covered, going over different Squonk mods, I'm going to go ahead and jump into some atomizers. I needed a vape after talking all about those Squonk mods. Sorry to the vapors in front of the camera, but I'm going to go ahead and get into some different Squonk mods Squonk RDAs that we think are great, priced well, and perform exceptionally. The first one is the Vandy Vape Pulse 22 and 24. Literally, we recommend both of them. If you're a squonker or into squonking, the Pulse is a great start, and the reason why is because it's designed with squonking in mind. The juice channels and where the juice ports are located, it flows like, I mean, you could just tell that this RDA was designed for squonking because the channels are deep and they just easily feed to your wicks. The airflow is unique. It kind of reminds me a little bit of the Kennedy, the tubular airflow, except the way it's designed is kind of angled and and hit your coils from underneath once you place them a little bit higher. And the flavor of the vapor is really good off of this RDA. The 22 is a single coil only version. I mean, it only supports single coils, and it's a 22 millimeter. The Pulse 24 is a 24 millimeter, and this is the one I have on here. And it supports dual coils and single coils. Now, with the Pulse 24, we think, in our opinion, of course, we think dual coils is just better in the Pulse 24, but you could put like a massive single coil in the center, but we just find that it just performs much better with two coils rather than one. I'll give you guys some vapor production from the Pulse 24, and this is a 0.18 ohm build at 65 watts. Flavor is excellent. The vapor, as you see, it's plenty of it. It's only 65 watts. It's not even, it's a lot of wattage. But anyway, the Pulse 22 and 24, great squonking RDAs. If you guys are looking to get into squonking, seriously, it's an excellent choice, and it's cheap in comparison to like, a lot of other RDAs in the market that just don't perform as well, especially when getting into squonking. Now the next one as I showed you in the earlier portion of this video, is the Omier Wasp Nano. This is an excellent flavor chasing RDA. It is a single coil only RDA, so it may not be for everybody, but for me, especially using it with this Istick Pico squeeze, it's perfect. I mean, this is like a match made in heaven right here, like literally. I mean, it's tiny. You could like put this in your bag, your pocket, I mean anywhere, and you're good to go. The flavor on this RDA is actually really, really good, and it actually has a lot more airflow than I initially thought it would have. I mean, just listen. I mean, that is a lot for a tiny, tiny single coil RDA. It's very easy to build on. Right now I have like a large, I think it was like a 7-rod fuse clap in here, which is not the greatest for this mod because it's only 50 watts, but it vapes great, and it's just, and yeah, it's good. I mean, and it's cheap. That's what I was going to say. Sorry about that. I think you can find it for like 15 bucks or something, so you really can't go wrong with that one. Now the next one I'm going to show you guys is the, let me get it out, I have a different one. Sorry, I had two of them out. Is the Vape Druga RDA. This is the rainbow color. And you've probably seen me vaping on this RDA in other videos that we've done. And the reason why it performs good, it has a lot of room to fit your larger coils. Like you easily fit a stagger fuse Clapton or Alien, any type of build really you could fit in here. It's a 24mm diameter. It comes with both a normal pin and a Squonk pin. Most of these RDAs, by the way, come in both of them. I'll state otherwise if it doesn't. It looks great on the drone, which I'll attach it to right now. There you go. I mean, that's the perfect pair. I mean, the type of coils you want to put in here, you probably need a little bit more wattage. So you might put on a mech, or I mean, it doesn't matter. It's up to you really. The side airflow is very, very smooth. It's easy to build on. It has like a sort of like a clamp style system, but not necessarily a clamp style system. You can use it uses thumb screws, so you can use your thumb to tighten it down, or pliers. Overall, the Drugas are excellent performer, and honestly, you probably see it a lot on like social media, the Druga, and I mean, it's a good reason why. It's a solid performing RDA for a great price. The next one I'll be mentioning is the Atofo Vaporous RDA. It's fairly new from Atofo. What's interesting about this RDA is the build deck. It kind of incorporates a traditional, 2-post build deck with two terminals and a clamp style build deck all into one. So it kind of gives you different building options, and it has two different airflow configurations. One with larger airflow holes, and the other with a little bit smaller, but not by much. You don't have like tons of airflow, and it's it's a little bit whistly, but it's not like terrible. But it's not really. It's kind of in the middle when it comes to airflow. It's not like too much, it's not too little bit, but so it's kind of like a good all-around RDA, for squonking or just normally dripping. It's solid performing. The flavor I get from it is actually really good. It's very easy to build on, and best of all, it's incredibly affordable. Now the last one I'll be mentioning is the Advokin Gorge RDA. It is another single coil RDA, which is great for single battery devices like the Inbox from Cigar. Now the reason why we like this RDA so much is because the flavor we get from it is actually really good, and when squonking with it, it actually squonks really well. You have a fairly deep juice well, so you could put squonk a fair amount of e-liquid before you need to re-drip. Re-squonk, not re-drip. It does also come with an Ultim top cap and the stainless steel top cap. It's available, I think, in black as well, which is really cool. I like when companies offer and just include different accessories within the packaging, where you don't have to go out and search for it or anything like that. So definitely huge props to Advokin for doing something like that. But anyway, the Gorge, you don't have a ton of airflow, so but I mean, it's more than the Wasp Nano. It reminds me a lot of the Wasp Nano, but except it's 24mm while the Wasp Nano is 22. And the build deck is almost the same, but you do get a little bit more airflow from the Gorge. The flavor is still really good though, and you know when you compare the two, the Wasp Nano is a little bit better because it is a bit more compact. You know, so the flavor is just a bit more intense. But I mean, still, the performance for this RDA is really good and it's affordable, and you know it's great for squonking, honestly. But those are all of the RDAs we recommend for you know, for those getting into squonking. If you're looking to get into squonking, there are tons of options on the market. These are just some of our favorites that we think you guys would be interested in regards to performance, price, and affordability. Same goes with Squonk mods. It's sad that, you know, we can't really talk more about a lot of different Squonk mods that are, like, you know, more widely available. There honestly isn't a lot right at this, you know, at this moment in time. Hopefully, by the end of this year or early into next year, we'll see a lot more, and you know, hopefully, we'll do an update video for you guys to see what's out there, what's new. I know there's a new one from Stentorian or Tofu that's coming out, and maybe a couple other down the pipeline. I think Smoan is supposed to be, you know, working on one. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm hoping we do see some more. But all of these Squonk mods are just excellent. They perform well for right now, especially anybody looking to start getting into squonking and don't want to spend too much money. I mean, you have plenty of options like the Pico squeeze kit and the inbox and the drip box too from Kangaroo Tech. So anyway, well, I hope this video does help you guys out in choosing your next Squonk device or atomizer. If you have any questions or comments, or you know, maybe you have a different favorite, you know, let us know what's your favorite Squonk RDA or what's your favorite Squonk mod. But anyway, these devices here, you don't have to worry about all that. They're readily available, and we'll have links down in the description. Like I said, you know, let us know what's your favorite, and thanks for watching Fat Cloud TV, brought to you by Vaping Cheap. And with that, keep it cloudy.